here to demonstrate how you can pull the data for the ITN mass campaign from the DHIS2 ITN instance using the data visualizer application. The first thing first, always remember to ensure that you check that you are in the correct platform by entering the correct URL in your browser. As shown here, in the ITN platform URL, which is the one that I've entered. You need also to have the correct username and password entered. Thereafter, you are good to go and log in by clicking on the login. Straight, it will take you to this window, on this landing window or page, and look out for the application hub, where you find quite a number of applications. Top right here, I'm hovering my cursor. Once you click there, you see a number of applications, but our interest is to look for the data visualize application with a green icon here. This one, you click on that icon, you land on this page where you have to decide on what type of data you want, what period, when in terms of the period, and the where in terms of the level of the organization unit that you would want to have your data mined or pulled from the system. So let's start with the what. So on the what, you need to know where to find this ITN data, either microplan or campaign data itself. So remember that the ITN mass campaign is a program. It comes once after a while. It's not a routine data that we are collecting throughout monthly or probably throughout the year. So because of that, it is placed under the program. It's a data that is found under a program. So you'll notice that here it's showing that our data type is selecting all the types. So we need to click under the drop down here and select under the program indicators, because it is a program. So you have which program indicator, you click. So once you select the program where you are going to find it, you need to select which program is it that you are interested to look at. So there's another category here showing that we have selected all the programs. So we need to go to the drop down and select which program. So once you select, you click on the drop down, you see that there are several programs. There's the ITN logistics stock control, there's ITN microplan, up to the revisit there. So here, if we want to look at the microplanning data, we are going to come to ITN microplanning 2026. So you click on that one. So once you click on the ITN microplanning 2026, you need to, you will see quite a number of data elements, okay, that are under this program. So of interest for me, I want us to look at the number of households. So I can either search here or go by each list and find the number of households. So the easiest is to search. Okay. I'm also interested to look at the total number of population, the headcount population. So I'm going to search again by total. I have total headcount population. I would also want to know the number of ITNs required that are being calculated using that population. So I also tick number of ITNs per village total for the TP. So this is how this data element has been, this indicator has been entered or coined in the system. So I'll double click to go to the selected ITNs. I also want to look at the number of villages. Out of curiosity, I might be interested in that. So number of villages. So it will come right here, number of villages, double clicking, it goes to selected items. I'm also interested to look at the number of CBVs probably. So CBVs, I will type CBVs. So I have the number of CBVs needed and the number of CBVs. So the difference is that the number of CBVs needed, the system has calculated for you how many CBVs you need to engage in the distribution of the ITNs. The number of CBVs is all the CBVs that you have in your catchment. So we'll get the number of CBVs needed. Double click, it goes to the selected item. We can update so that we can see what so far we have selected. So we have our numbers here. We go to the next field or category, which is under the rows, and here we need to tell the system which period are we interested in. So when you click on the period, you realize that there's a default period already selected. So you need to be careful, and by unselecting it, by double clicking on it, it will move out of the selected items and get your own period of interest. You go to fixed periods, and you realize that it's giving us options. We can get this data daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly, depending how that data is being reported in the system. Okay, so for us, we enter this microplan once in a year. So we are going to get yearly. We're going to click on yearly and we'll see the years. So the year for this campaign is 2026. That's where we entered our microplan. So we'll double click on the year 2026 and update. Next, we need to answer the where question. So where do we want to see this data? At what level? So it is the time now to go to the organization unit. We are going to select, we are going to move it away from the filter and take the period to the filter, because the period is single. Even if it's filtered, we'll still be able to see it as such. So now when you click on the org unit, you realize that this org unit, by default, it has ticked on user organization unit. It means that all these other units under it can be displayed. So even without ticking on any of this, we can go and specify which levels we want under the select levels. So we select the level, and you click on the drop down, you see which levels are there available for you. So for now, I will display how we can get the provincial data by selecting the province and probably the national level as well, and update our data. So there we can see we have the data by province, all the provinces, and also the national level. Let's assume we want to get this data by the province. So it's a province that wants this data, and this is central province. So I'll tick on the province, it's the exact directory, and you can do that up to whichever level. You can directly tick to what you want. And let's go to the levels. So under this province, what levels are we interested? So we are interested to look at the districts data and the province itself. So we can tick them under the levels and update. So what if we want to have the granular data up to the village level? Because these ITNs microplans are attached to a village. So we can go back and demonstrate for this in the central province and ticking these other levels. We want to have the data up to the village pulled out. So you tick under this village, the box, and update. Cool. So the data set is a little bit big, that's why it takes longer, but here we have our data. But we need to know this village is under which province, under which district, under which facility under which NIC. So how do you do that? So you go to options. So under the options, select style, scroll down and look for the labels and tick the box display organization unit hierarchy and update by clicking on the update there. And there you have your data. So this data is pulled up to the village level and is following the hierarchies: province, district, facility, NHC, up to the village that you have interest. And now you can download this data by going to the downloads on top here, and this tab, click on download and select which format you want this data to be downloaded. So I want this data to be downloaded by Excel. I'm going to select, click on Excel, and my data is being downloaded on my downloads there. So it's just network, but I should be able, there it is. So I have my data downloaded. You can see here, and I can open, and I can actually open my Excel thereafter and be able to play around it in terms of probably cleaning this data. And we can also put the filters that will help you to navigate further and be able to drill down to check your data up to the village level and so on. Thank you so much. We end here for now.